Hey, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Podriplegics podcast. And my phone's ringing. Sorry.
It's always something, Shawn. It always is something. Almost every single episode.
All those girlfriends calling.
Well, you know, it's hard out here for a pimp.
Yeah.
All right. You want me to start that over, or you want me to keep rolling?
No, just keep rolling. That's fine.
All right, fine. You know, this is all stuff nobody cares about anyways, but I'm just kidding. You know, we always have to mention our sponsors, the Arizona Spinal Cord Injury Association. That is azspinal.org. We thank you so much, by the way. Phone number is 602-507-4209. Call Eric. Eric loves them late night phone calls, as I tell you every time. 3 a.m.s, the 4 a.m.s. You know he loves them. Call him. Ask him anything. Doesn't matter what it is. You can ask him what color you want to paint your walls. He'll answer your questions for you. This podcast can be found on YouTube and on Facebook, or also audio versions on Spotify and iTunes. azspinal.org/podcast. And yeah, Derek, I combined your names. You like that? Derek over there. No, Don, Eric, and myself have 100+ years of living with a disability, but we are not medical professionals. I repeat, we are not medical professionals. We are only here to share our stories and offer any insight that we have through our years of living with a disability. So if you are having medical issues, please contact your doctor and or 911. There will be mature language, mostly from Don. He can't control himself. And mature content at some point, at some times. So don't sue us. Again, if you're going to sue anybody, sue Eric. He's got all the monies, except for our new guest, our special guest today, Mr. Need for Speed, Corbin Beu, who looks like he's got tons of money sitting there in this garage full of sweet cars. Viking himself, Mr. Corbin Beu. Let's get started with the show. Corbin, thank you so much for being here, man.
Thanks for having me.
Well, no problem. I mean, it's our, we're happy to have you. It's our honor to have you. You are a very special individual. You have some accomplishments that Don and Eric have been dying to talk about. So, Eric, I don't know if you want to fire all them off, or Don, you can go right ahead.
Go, Don.
Go ahead, Eric. Well, first of all, I've known Corbin for a long time. He's a fellow cheesehead. We're both from Wisconsin, yeah. And but we both made the smart move to Arizona.
Yeah.
But
I'm gonna take this off now, okay?
Yeah, go ahead. But I mean, you have to listen.
Don, you already lost our first guest.
Yeah, took him 10 seconds to run away. Corbin's a man of many hats, as you see. I'm just so impressed with everything he does. He can build anything. He's one of those people that just has that knack and talent to be able to build and design. So I've always been so impressed with that and some of the creations he's made. Eric, you want to tell him about the sports accomplishments you got?
Well, you went to the Paralympics in sled hockey, correct?
I did.
And what year was that you went?
I was on the first U.S. team that went in 1998 to Nagano, Japan.
1998. Wow, that's pretty cool. How'd you guys do when you went?
We didn't fare too good. We were still a fairly new team on the international level, and the first game kind of caught us by surprise. We were, had the jitters and everything like that, and that kind of threw us under the bus and into a different bracket and stuff like that. So
yeah,
we didn't fare out too well. At that time, the Scandinavian teams had been playing together for decades before, because the sled hockey started over there, and so it was a relatively young team for the U.S.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, when it's that young, that's tough. Now,
Yeah.
you could have just went up to Canada. I mean, they live, breathe, and eat hockey. I mean, they must
Oh
have
yeah.
sled hockey all over there, huh? Do
Oh,
they
yeah.
have it? Do they have a sled hockey team up there?
Oh yeah, they have. That's Canada and the U.S. right now are the two biggest contenders at every tournament.
Wow.
It's usually ends up being a final between Canada and the U.S. And the U.S.
Okay.
has won, I believe, the last number of years in a row. I think there are three Paralympic golds in a row, 2 or 3, I think. And then all the world championships now have gone to the U.S. The last time I played was 2007, I believe. That's a long time ago.
Wow.
On the national team. And then I helped start the Coyote sled hockey team here in town, but retired from coaching and playing on that probably about 5-6 years ago.
Okay.
And just been enjoying the new hobby.
Yeah.
Oh, the
Well,
cars.
I want to talk a tiny bit more about the sled hockey, because there might be people who are listening to this that are newly injured, that don't really know a lot about sports for the disabled. So when you talk about sled hockey, you're talking about exactly what?
So we play on an adaptive piece of equipment that's about 3 inches off the ice, and it's actually on ice hockey blades. And we have 2 sticks in our hands that are about 30 inches long. We have a right-hand stick and a left-hand stick. They have the curves, right-hand curve, left-hand curve. And there's kind of like the tip of a figure skate in the other end. So you dig that in the ice to propel ourselves. And then you lean on one blade to turn. And then it's full contact on a regulation rinks. All the rules are exactly the same, except for instead of 20-minute or instead of quarters, there's 20-minute halves. So it's split up in just 2 parts instead of 3 periods. For some reason I had basketball on the brain. So instead of 3 periods, there's just there's still 3 periods, but instead of 20-minute periods, they're 15-minute periods. Wow. Basketball I was totally like 4 quarters and everything like that. What kind of hockey player am I?
No worries.
Yeah. How does that work for like you guys still do like line changes and shifts and stuff
Yeah,
like
so
that?
a lot of the bigger events, like the international events and the national events and everything like that, will actually modify the bench areas and either bring a ramp up or the bench areas no step into it. So the doors can open and then they put down synthetic ice, like plastic sheets inside the bench area. And then they put clear plexiglass along the boards so we can see the ice and everything. So you can skate right into one door and somebody skates out the other door for a line change.
Wow.
That's cool.
If they don't have that, basically the whole team sits right on the ice, right outside the bench area. And then that's basically a gentleman's sport of, not having the puck go into that area or whatever. Or if the puck is going that way, we just put our stick down and deflect it out. We don't catch it and pass it to somebody or anything like that. But
Sure.
Looks like you still have all your teeth, Corbin. Do they get in fights like a regular hockey too?
That was my
You got those spikes?
I've been in a couple. Yeah, I've been in a couple. More of them have been in the most memorable one was in a bar in where was that?
That makes sense.
I think it was in Canada, but it was with the Canadian in a bar.
Canadians fight?
Yeah, we were both a little tipsy, and it escalated kind of quickly, and it was just a couple hits and he was down. So
Yeah, you got a set of pipes on you too, if I remember right. Yeah, he's wicked with basketball too, by the way.
Where can somebody check out if they're interested in trying to find out like where they could play locally or where they could play nationally? I mean, is there like a website or something that they could go to and look for that stuff?
So you can probably go on the USA Hockey website and search that. Honestly, I haven't looked for a while. Locally here in Phoenix, there's a team, the Phoenix Coyote sled hockey team, and you can probably find that on Facebook, find all the information you want on that. I haven't been involved with it for a while, so I'm not really sure. But you can probably just look stuff up in your local area in the local areas wherever you are.
So I found a site. It's www.usahockey.com/sled hockey.
There you go.
So
Cool.
Corbin, I know you're not coaching hockey anymore. Are you still coaching track and field or any other coaching sports?
I coach nothing right now.
Okay.
Yeah, I coach nothing right now. In fact, 2016, I think that was the last, that was the first time. It was so I retired completely from coaching in 2016, but I went to Rio to watch the Paralympics. I had a handful of friends that were competing in different sports. The triathlon, track and field, the athletes that I had coached in the past were competing. And it was a very strange event for me because it was the first time since 1989. So just before I graduated high school. So it was the first time since 1989 that I was at a sporting event and I wasn't competing or coaching. So I actually kind of felt lost because all of a sudden I had no schedule to follow. All I had to do was watch people do stuff and not give any advice or cool anybody down or do anything. And it was a very strange feeling, but it's very enjoyable. I really like going and still supporting my friends that still compete and everything like that. It's a lot of fun, but I'll tell you what, it's strange because having been on the national and international competitive scene in so many sports for so long, it's very strange to go to an event and not have to do anything.
So I do have one more question for you, and I know we want to get into the Dakar stuff and everything that you're doing, but I think it's important, for people who are looking for something and maybe lost, and how did sports help you, kind of develop who you are or how you feel about inclusion as far as life and in a chair and all those different things? I mean, did it help you with that?
Yes, I think I'm a unique case as far as that goes, because at first it really, really, really hurt me. It was something that I didn't even consider. In fact, I wanted to die. I was a nationally ranked triathlete and track runner and cyclist before my accident. So when my accident happened, I was being looked at by some, major brands and stuff like that for sponsorships to be the next Olympian. And I mean, I was running a mile. I was in the top 10 mile runners in the country. I was, a whole bunch of stuff. So when my accident happened in 1992, I was at the peak. I had just was in the Navy, just gotten out of the Navy. I was search and rescue in the Navy, doing triathlons on a national level, doing this stuff. So when my accident happened, I thought basically my life was over, because I had this plan of, hey, all of a sudden I'm going to be a sponsored athlete. I'm going to be a pro athlete. And I had all those grand plans of, making the money and running and being able to, make money doing what I love doing. And, when my accident happened and I woke up enough that I realized that stuff wasn't going to happen anymore, I didn't want to do anything. I literally didn't want to do a thing. And the recreational therapist at the University of Wisconsin Medical Center in Madison, Wisconsin, she showed me a magazine called Sports and Spokes. And I saw that, and I saw the guys in racing wheelchairs. and hand cycles and,
Yep.
doing all sorts of stuff and everything. And I probably saw Eric swimming because he competed in the Paralympics just before my accident, right? 88, right?
92.
Oh, 92. So you were in Barcelona.
Yeah, I was in Barcelona.
So I was actually on the long list for able-bodied mile runners for Barcelona, and you competed in the Paralympics in Barcelona. So I saw that kind of stuff, and one of the things that I saw also almost at the same time was the Barcelona Olympics were on. The Olympics were on TV when I was in the hospital, and I saw the kayaking, and all of a sudden it just clicked in my head. I was like, you can't even see their legs.
That's right.
I'm going to do that. So I went balls out, and I was down at PT twice a day. They couldn't get it. I couldn't get enough of it. And then I saw the Sports and Spokes, and I told my rec therapist, I said, hey, I'm going to be in that magazine. And, she pulled my reins back a little bit and said, hey, whoa, wait a second. This Sports and Spokes thing is a serious thing. This is like the Sports Illustrated of adaptive sports. So you really got to be at the top of whatever you're doing to make it in that magazine and everything like that. And I've been in it a handful of times now for I think five or six different sports and stuff like that. And
Do you send a copy to your old therapist?
I have.
Yeah.
I actually went back and gave, I think, the first three issues that I was in for different sports. Every time I went back to Wisconsin, I used to go up there and visit them. They're all retired now, so I don't do that anymore. But I used to go back and give them a copy of the magazine and everything, and it was a lot of fun.
So I just want to point out something. You're an all-around sportsman, because I mean, you didn't just do sled hockey, my friend. You did basketball, you did fencing, you've done skiing. I mean, have you swimming? Swimming was a thing for you too?
I have not competed in swimming.
Okay.
I'm still a fairly good swimmer. I can swim distances and that was my strong point because I was search and rescue in the Navy, so I could tread water for a long, long time. And the triathlons that I did before my accident, were distance open water, everything like that. But I've never competed in swimming at all. But I enjoy it, and I enjoy kayaking. I was lucky enough to work for an organization here in Arizona for 15 years, Arizona Disabled Sports, and I coached. I think I coached just about every single program they had. So I was a basketball coach. I was track and field coach. Skiing, when they do the downhill skiing thing, I go up there and help teach skiing. What we would do is, as the people were going up the lift, I would time it and ski underneath them, and their instructor would be on the lift with them, showing them what I'm doing, so they got an idea of what they needed to do going down the hill.
With AZ Disabled Sports, that's a Paralympic certified site, isn't it? I mean, don't
it is? It is now. I was around when that became a thing.
Okay.
So yeah, it's a Paralympic sport organization.
I kind of want to dig in a little bit more on what you said before of the feeling of worthlessness, right? Like that feeling that you had after your accident. Were sports the only outlet for you? I mean, was there ways that you maybe could give advice to other people maybe who are going through that right now, of how they could they could find their own way to work through that feeling? Because I know I've felt it, and I'm sure maybe I'm sure everybody else feels it too, and so I'd like to hear your take on that.
Right. So sports played a big role in being able to come back. So the local basketball team in Madison, Wisconsin, one of the guys from the team came to the hospital and became my mentor. And he would actually come to the hospital while I still had the TLSO on. So I had a brace from my waist to my neck. and I had a cast on my left hand because my thumb was ripped off in my accident also. But he would come to the hospital and got permission to take me to basketball practice. And I couldn't transfer into a car or anything like that. And he had a Ford Explorer. So he would get in the car and grab the bottom of my TLSO from his seat. And he would curl me up into the passenger seat from the driver's side. And then he would get back out and put my chair in the back, and then he'd get back in and put his chair in the back seat and take me to basketball practice.
So you were his cross train?
Right, exactly, yeah. But yeah, so he would do that, and it was, I mean, that was huge for me. And then, so for me, sports was a great direction to go. And after I started playing sports and got out of the hospital and started doing that and started riding bikes and doing racing wheelchairs and doing marathons and 5Ks and all in fact, I did every single race, every single triathlon, every single biathlon, duathlon, road race. I did every single one that I did able-bodied the summer of 1992. I did all of those in the summer of 1993. Every single one of them. So it was one of those things where that was a good outlet for me because I was able to get equipment to be able to participate in those things again. One of the things that I've learned after retiring and having some injuries and stuff like that is picking up skills and being able to do and apply myself in, whatever I can to the best of my ability has been key. And that's one of the things that I've always told all of my athletes. Do things with purpose. Don't just skate through life. Don't just do things. In fact, the guy that I'm helping build this white car that's right behind me, that one's not mine. That's a guy who comes and helps me out with stuff I can't reach. He's helping build the building, helps with some mechanic stuff or anything like that. And I'm teaching him because he's in his early 20s and everything. But that's one of the things that I'm really trying to implement with him is, dude, don't do things half-assed. Do things with purpose. And you're gonna, he's got a job, and a couple people have quit and everything like that. And I said, dude, when you do things, double check your work, do things with purpose, do things like you're proud to be doing it. Don't just do it to skate by and get a paycheck. Because if you do things with purpose, one thing, that paycheck's gonna go up because they're gonna see that and they're gonna do that. It's just like with my day job and everything like that. They see that every year and my paycheck goes up every year. And it's just one of those things in life. You should just do things with purpose and find something that you're passionate about and do that to the best of your ability. And it doesn't matter what your ability is, do it to the best of your ability. I know all three of you guys, I've come across all three of you guys in public speaking. I've known Don for way too long and, known Eric for a while too. And all three of you guys do that. All three of you guys exemplify that. And that's by example of creating this podcast and everything like that. And that's just an incredible thing to bring to the community, the disabled community, the able-bodied community, the entire community. So
that's the reason why we did it, because, we have to stick together as a community to support each other, to, know that there's more after, that there's more that we can create every day.
Right.
Yeah. So
Don, I know you can weigh in on this too, because you as an early intervention coordinator, you've told everybody this.
Right.
I don't know. You probably run across this all the time too, right?
Yeah. As Corbin said, and as you mentioned, I think, after an onset of a disability, it is a shock. It's like, for many people, you got to go through the stages of grief. You might not go through all of them, but for everybody, it's a huge life change. And I think finding that purpose, that whatever it is, in Corbin's case, it was sports. is key to getting over that, to adapting to the new lifestyle, the new you. And, Corbin exemplifies hard work, determination, and getting into sports. For some people, maybe a higher level injury, there might not be the same options with sports, so it could be something else. It could be intellectual pursuits, going to school, getting a degree, or it could be art. I know people that get really into creating, it could be stage acting or something like that. So there's other options that people need to be aware of. But I think what Corbin said about living your life with purpose is absolutely spot on. And I'm so glad that you were there to say that, Corbin. We see it behind you, all the projects you've got going on there. It's pretty amazing on all the things you created over the years. Do you?
So let's get into that. I mean, we got some of the stuff out of the way already, and now we can get into the things that you're so passionate about. You are a mechanic and a rally car driver, and I mean, I'm sure your list of accomplishments go on and on. Why don't you tell us a little bit about the things behind you, the cars, and what it is like that you do with all of them, and
Okay.
just let us know.
Yeah. So when I retired from sports, coaching and everything like that, about 4 or 5 years ago, I was looking for something to do. So about 20 years ago, when I moved out to Phoenix, a little over 20 years ago, I had a little Honda CRX, and I met some people. We made it into a race car, and I did these autocross races in my spare time when I wasn't playing basketball. I was playing basketball for the Phoenix Suns and the U.S. sled hockey team at the same time. And then once a month, I would go race my little car around a parking lot with cones and stuff like that. And it was just a blast. And I grew up with sports cars with my dad. We had, my dad had Porsches, 912, Austin Healey's, Triumph Spitfire, Saab Sonnets. He had all that kind of stuff growing up. So I was always around these little foreign sports cars. And I always wanted to build one for myself. And my dream was an MG Midget. I've wanted an MG Midget since I was 8 years old. And just one of my favorite cars. And then after my accident and everything like that, I was like, well, the MG Midget only came in a manual transmission. So I was like, well, that's going to be really tough, because at the time they didn't have any hand controls in the United States for manual transmissions. Now you can get them, but they're still kind of wonky. So I fell in love with the rotary engine that's in these cars behind me. These are all Mazda RX-7s, and they have the rotary engine. So it's got a rotor kind of like the shape that's on my shirt. So I discovered that the rotary engine and the automatic transmission from one of these Mazdas here fits in a MG Midget.
That's cool.
So I have 2 MG Midgets and an Austin Healey Sprite right outside this building, waiting to come in to get the transformation and get restored and everything like that, to be my little cruiser. They're just going to be car show cars.
Wow,
and everything like that. So you guys will see those, coming up probably in the next year. At least one of them will be ready.
Now you're taking adaptive driving to a whole nother level with what you're doing.
So that's one of my things is so I teach wheelchair skills classes, and one of the things is driving and vehicles and stuff like that. And you get into, I don't know if you guys can hear that helicopter, but there's a helicopter flying over my place right now. So hold on.
They're probably looking for me, so don't tell them you know where I'm at. All right?
Okay. I live just south of the Deer Valley Airport, so there's the police helicopter that's going over there to refuel. So in probably about 20 minutes, they're going to come back.
You probably live right down the street from me.
Oh yeah, I'm at around 15th Avenue and Grover's.
Yeah. Okay. Go ahead. Anyways.
But anyway, so one of the things that I loved is when I had that little Honda CRX is that, you know, I was driving a little car that I want. And one of the things that a lot of people kind of get roped into is that no matter what their disability is that they have to have a van, or they have to have an SUV, or they have to have a pickup truck. And yeah, I'll admit that those things, I've got an SUV, I've got 2 SUVs. And those things are awesome for carrying equipment and everything like that. But I'm also working on one of these MGs, I think is spoken for someone who is going to try to get a power chair in it. So I'm actually going to make a convertible that a power chair can go into. It'll be a similar system to what Don's Element has. So you'll be able to go into a subfloor and everything like that and drive it.
You know, Corbin,
I'm working on designs on stuff like that. But it's one of those things where, you know, these little sports cars and stuff like that, a lot of people think that those are just unobtainable, you know, pipe dreams for some people, you know, for adaptive driving and everything like that. But I've got, you know, so one of the things, I'm going to let the cat out of the bag. I'm working on starting an adaptive performance driving program where it's going to be similar to what happens down at Bondurant every year with people get rides and you can drive a car or whatever. But I'm going to have a fleet of about 4 or 5 cars. I've got a Mazda Miata, a Toyota MR2, a Honda CRX, and a handful of Mazda RX-7s. So people basically can, if you fit in the car and you can drive it, you can drive it in one of these events like an autocross event or a rallycross event. They're controlled events, closed courses. You're not wheel to wheel. You're out there by yourself, but you can push the car and yourself to the limits, and everything like that. So I'm building up these cars to be able to do that, and offer rides. Other people that my racing friends and everything like that have said that they can, people can ride with them on a lap or something like that. And so I'm trying to incorporate that into my new, my new lifestyle of auto sports and building these cars and everything. So
the instructor comes out in you yet again.
I guess so, yeah.
You got that coaching gene, whatever that is.
Right?
That's so cool, though, Corbin. I think that's a great project.
You know,
it'll be fun.
Corbin, one of the things that I don't think people understand is when you said I have an SUV, what they don't understand is you have an SUV that has a lift that can get you to the top of your SUV, to the roof of your SUV. People don't understand that.
Yeah,
that's pretty amazing.
Yeah, so a while ago, I don't have that installed on the Suburban right now, but I've had trucks with rooftop tents and an 80-inch linear actuator that's basically an external elevator. So I sit on that, and it takes me all the way up it takes me 8 feet up in the air and everything. So we're working on a way of mounting that on the Suburban so I can have that same system up there.
And you made that, didn't you? You put that together. You made that happen for that vehicle. Is that correct?
Right. I designed the whole thing. Yeah, I did.
Yeah. I mean, that's what amazes me. You are a fabricator. You're a designer. You push the edge of what it is to have a disability. You know, I mean, you're doing things that, you know, I don't see regular people doing. You know what I mean? I mean, it's in who you are more than what you are. You know what I mean? You're making it happen, and you're doing. I consider that very respectable, extraordinary things.
I like to have fun, and that's fun.
Yeah, exactly.
Corbin, are you still doing the camping trailers, that tow behind camping?
Well, yeah, I actually I've actually been contacted recently to be commissioned to build another one of those. But yeah, I helped a company start with building off-road camping trailers, and then left them and to pursue my own thing. and then as a fabricator and everything with my own shop and everything like that. And then went to work at another shop to help teach fabricating skills and everything like that. And then they basically kind of abruptly closed the department that I was in down without telling anybody. And I was told, oh, by the way, next weekend is the last time you can work out of here. And so I had to find something else quickly, because I was making to make money. I was making gates, like 16, 18, 20-foot gates for condo complexes, and that was paying all my bills and everything like that to support all the hobbies, and everything. And when I lost that place of being able to do that, is when I went and found the job that I'm at now. In fact, today, it ended up being a Facebook memory, that today is the day that I was hired 5 years ago, in the job that I'm working at right now. The day job that helps to afford to be able to do all this kind of stuff.
So I got a quick question for you. I just recently started getting into the motorsports myself. I have a Can-Am Maverick RT Turbo.
Nice.
And I have hand controls put in it. They're already in there and everything. But my issue is getting from my chair into there. Now, are there any ways that you know of, or is it something that would have to be fabricated by somebody like you to help get into something like that, to make it easy?
Yeah. No, so it depends. So I would meet with you and find out what your requirements are, what you would want. Do you want a way of being able to get in and out of it remotely, or are you going to get in it like near the same trailer all the time, get in and out of it near the same trailer? Or are you going to get in and out of it? Like, are you going to drive it somewhere, then get it out of it and get in your chair and then do something?
No, usually I get in it and then I ride it for, however many hours, or drive it and take it out through trails and all those different things, and then come back to the same spot that I got into it.
Yeah, so basically we'd probably just do like a simple little boom lift off the corner of the trailer that you use or something like that. So then whoever's getting it off the trailer for you, or however you get it off the trailer. And I have a way of I have a way that you'd be able to do that independently also, with a dual winch system. Is you'd be able to use the winch to pull it off the trailer and use the winch to pull it on the trailer. I've done that with my race cars, where I've been able to load and unload my cars myself. But then we just do a little boom.
Corbin will figure it out. I said, if there's a way to do something, Corbin will figure it out. He's got
right. Yeah. So we just do a little, like a little boom crane, off the, probably like the front corner of the trailer or something like that. So your car would just be pulled up there, and we'd just float you in the air and drop you into the seat.
Well, I'll tell you what, you might be having a job coming your way.
Perfect.
Because
Awesome.
I love it. I think that it's so fun. I didn't realize how much fun motorsports were. I never was really that much of a motorsports person before my accident, nor have I had been up until this summer when this is when I first got it. And I mean, when I started driving it, I could not believe the feeling of independence and the thrill and the just being out in the open and on trails. I mean, unbelievable, the thrill. And now I'm hooked. I'm addicted. I want to ride. I want to learn how to do everything. I want to learn how to do rally courses. I want to learn how to do all that stuff. So I'm coming to see you for sure.
All right. Yeah, it's amazing how much I really refrain from using the phrase normal, because all four of us are normal.
I don't know about me, but whatever.
I guess that's true. But there's one thing where, let's go with, instead of saying normal, let's say level the playing field.
Yeah.
Okay. So when I get into a rally car and I'm sitting at the start line of the rally and I'm the only guy driving with hand controls and everything like that, you know what? Nobody cares. Everybody's looking at me as a contender. And the rallies that I've been able to finish, I've podiumed. I've gotten on the podium. I've taken second, third place. So
that sounds awesome.
you know, it's one of those things where when I get in the rally car, I'm in a race car. You're in a race car. I'm in a race car. Everyone's in a race car. You get a race car. I felt like Oprah there for a second, but you know, it's just one of those things where, I mean, it really is an incredible feeling, but the feeling isn't really, hey, I'm disabled and I'm doing something and everything like that. It's like, dude, I'm in a freaking race car, you know? That's the same. It's the same feeling for this kid, Chris, that's building this white car behind me, and the same feeling that I get when I get in that zebra stripe car that's right next to his and stuff like that. We both get into those cars and we're both in race cars. It's on,
Yeah.
you know, it's go time, you know, let's do it.
I feel like
that feeling of the first time I got in there and I was driving it and I looked down and I realized I was doing 105 miles an hour and open air just blazing on you. And it was like, holy smokes, like, how is this something that I've never experienced before in my life? And I'm telling you, if you've never done it, definitely go see Corbin on his course, because it is exhilarating. It is so fun. And I'm going to tell you, it's super addicting. It's super addicting.
Corbin, I'm going to have to get over there because my blood is heating up just talking about this, man.
Yeah. Corbin, do you have any rallies on the schedule? Are there any coming up?
I'm waiting until next year. So I'm building another car, and the car behind me is going to be I'm going to call it a program car. So that's going to be a loaner car for other people to be able to do that. And what I'd really like to do is I would really like to find a talent that could go out and possibly do a stage rally. Right? So, you know, if I have a couple cars that are going to be legal for stage rally, I've got no problem if somebody wants to, you know, pony up some registration fee or do something like that. Zebra Built will you know, sponsor the car, and we'll go to an event with 2 cars.
Okay. So I got to ask the unaskable here, but what if you get wrecked? Like, what if it wrecks?
If you're driving
and you crash into the wall, or, you know, you do some of that craziness where, you know, that could happen.
It can happen, but the cars have full cages. So they're full roll cage cars. So the races that people will be able to do and come borrow the cars are closed course. The courses are designed to not go over like 50, 60 miles an hour. Because you have to turn, and the track is about a minute and a half long, something like that. So
is it ramped? Is it a ramped? Is the circuit ramped? You know, like the is it at?
No, these are open
bank turn.
What?
A bank turn.
Yeah.
No. So the autocross is basically in a huge parking lot. And the course is laid out with cones. So before the event, you go and you go through the course and you find out what you have to do, and then you drive the car as quickly through that course as possible.
Okay.
Rallycross is the exact same thing in dirt. So it's just a slightly different setup on the car, but basically a lot of guys go out there with their daily drivers, and you can do that, and you could come out there with your daily driver. In fact, there's an event, I think not this weekend, but the following weekend, just south of town. If anybody wants to go down and watch, I can get the information out to people. I'll put it on my Facebook page or something. And then I don't know when the next autocross event is, but you know, I think people are able to go spectate stuff now. Maybe I'm speaking too soon, but I'll put the dates and stuff like that. But COVID racing has been quite exciting. But as far as like the rallies go and everything like that, I had just planned on building another car, or we're doing something to sort out the transmission issues, because the motors that I'm building are just going through the stock Mazda automatic transmissions left and right. I've blown like 3 automatic transmissions. So we're putting a really heavy duty Chevy Turbo 350 transmission in one, seeing how that handles. It's one that they drag race with, so it should be fine. But
well, look, I know we're probably running on time. I wanted to make sure before this time was over that I give you any opportunity to maybe plug some of the things. Where can they find you? Where can they find some of the stuff that you're doing? And where can people contact you if they are interested in any of this stuff? I mean, this is awesome and cool, super cool stuff. So where can they contact you at and find you at?
So I got to get better at the Instagram thing, but I'm on, if you look up Zebra Built on either Facebook or Instagram, I'm both of those things. I'm on both. Technically, I'm on both of those things. I have to get a little bit better with the Instagram thing. I think there's some way of linking those up, or something to where if you post on one, it automatically goes to the other.
Yeah.
I need to do that, and then find that kind of stuff. But yeah, that's Facebook or Instagram.
Corbin, what's the next magazine you're going to be in? Racing World or?
Right. I don't know.
We'll look for you there.
Right. Yeah. I don't know. One of the things that I'm trying to sort out right now is through my rallying stuff like that, I became friends with a guy that's over in Spain that actually races the Dakar big trucks, and with one of those things with hand controls. So I'm trying to get over there to at least get a ride in that thing and everything, because that's one of my next dreams. Is I'd really like to compete and finish the Dakar rally.
Wow.
Awesome. Well, I know I'm looking forward to like learning how to do that kind of stuff. So I'll definitely be contacting you. I haven't been able to get my my Maverick here yet. It's still in Michigan, but I'm going to be bringing it out here for sure at the end of next summer. And
Nice.
By then, I hopefully will be skilled enough to be able to take it out on those dirt tracks and do some sweet rally racing. So we should do that together.
They do have a side-by-side class. You have to have a different cage made for it. You can't do it with the stock cages, but they do have a side-by-side class at a lot of rallies.
Awesome. Well, I'm looking forward to doing it. I know I want to compete somewhere, and you just motivated me even more, man. And I'm sure you motivated so many other people that are listening to this, dude. You are a super cool dude. Super interesting dude. So everybody go check out Corbin at Zebra
Built.
On either Facebook. Most likely Facebook is where he'll respond to you. But Instagram as well. Check him out. Super cool guy. Anybody else got anything left to say?
No, I mean you're leading the march on what it is to follow your dreams even after being in a traumatic incident. I mean you're leading the charge. I mean I have a lot of respect for you.
Yeah, me too.
I just see it as living life. So just if it affects people, that's just a humongous bonus. But realistically, I'm trying to live the life that I want to live.
Well, and that's just it. You're living your life. You're not letting people tell you what your life is. You're not succumbing to the internal demons that come along with, questioning yourself and your self-worth and all that stuff. I mean, of course we all deal with that, but I mean, you're definitely showing, you're showing that you're being productive with what you're doing. You're saying, hey, this is my purpose. I'm doing this because I want to do this.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that's the key right there. Is that it's not about ability, it's not about disability. It's about the fact that you have something that you love and you have purpose to do it, and nothing's going to stop you. And that is proven, and that is written in many magazines, and should be written in stone somewhere, my friend. So we appreciate you, buddy.
Yeah.
I appreciate you guys having me.
Thanks, Corbin, for that energy and that motivation.
Yeah.
Keep it up, man. And good luck.
I
with
really-
your rallies.
I appreciate what you guys are doing.
Thank you. Everybody, Corbin Beu.
Corbin.
And this is another episode of Podriplegics Podcast. I'm out.